Okay, so it seems that there's been even more to do with the Stellar Blade situation. Now, if you guys don't know, it's been a pretty funny time, kind of going over some of the people coping over Stellar Blade Blood Rain, and obviously the main character who is pictured here, Evie, who a lot of people were saying looks too young, which is pretty crazy. And of course, they were even going as far as to saying that she looks like a child and that you were a PDF if you liked her character, right? If you liked her character design and all sorts, which I think is absolutely crazy. Now, of course, there's been a ton of updates to this in general, right? Including the CEO of Shift Up and Stellar Blade director and all this kind of stuff. He has been trolling a lot of people online, which I thought was quite funny, as well as even more to do with the whole Asmongold stuff as well, right? The Asmongold take that he made on this whole Stellar Blade drama, which has been getting him a lot of hate. Now, yeah, as we said, we've gone through a lot of different articles of Shift Up, and the CEO obviously saying that Evie wasn't created to be remembered only for her appearance, and that they wanted to make her more memorable, and this is why they've decided to go for this kind of design choice and all of this kind of stuff, which again I think is great, and I can't wait to see her in the game and play Stellar Blade Blood Rain. But of course, there has been a lot of drama, as I said, surrounding the character's age and the character, how young the character looks and whatever. And well, it seems like the CEO has just kind of further went on to troll people, right? On his account. It says Kim Hyung-tae, the CEO of Shift Up and the creator of Stellar Blade Blood Rain, continues to repost fan art of Evie despite the drama surrounding their character. So yeah, he has literally just been kind of just spamming like different bits of artwork. He's also been putting artwork of other characters from Nikkei and stuff like that too, but he seems to be upping a lot of the Evie posts ever since this drama has kind of came out and all this kind of stuff. As soon as this drama like dropped, he's just been like non-stop posting Evie, which I think is quite funny, because of course it has been triggering even more people, right? It's in drama, and it's just the retarded aunties being retarded aunties. We really need to stop giving these tourists any attention, period. So why would people care what some mentally ill Redditors think? Which, yeah, I think is true. Right, they say the positivity and the fan art is how we filter out the drama, which also, yeah, I think that's fair enough as well, right? I think he is just trying to be positive about his game because, let's be real, there has been a lot of negative attention to it. Now, of course, I think a lot of this attention will end up going well for Stellar Blade because it's just going to give the game more attention in general, so people will play it whenever it does come out. But of course, as well, you don't want it to be all negative, so of course, he's trying to kind of just post some positive fan art and images and stuff that he has found of this going forward. So again, very, very cool, and I can't wait to see what he has in store for Stellar Blade Blood Rain, right? But essentially, there has been a kind of other thing that's been going on surrounding the Asmongold situation. If you guys remember this original tweet right here, they ended up going down onto the whole talk about lollies, and again, it was a long thread saying another Asmongold L as he doubles down on the anti-logic again. As many have said, the data on this is actually clear from multiple studies, and he said, please provide the data. And then they provided 2012 Danish report. Said, let's start with the first example, the Danish report. What was the sample size? It said the Danish review one is a review of the existing scientific literature and found zero proven causal link. Both Diamond et al. Used national aggregate crime rate stats. So yeah, obviously there you go. Said the sample size was 0 because it wasn't a study or research. They literally just asked experts and concluded there was no connection. That analysis of scientific literature as part of a report is common practice. So were the images shown to subjects in the study real girls or anime lollies? And then obviously they keep on going. This is said the real C7 is illegal. What do you think? I said what were the images they were shown then? And obviously they keep going and going and going and going. And obviously, this is one of the graphs that Asmongold always brings up about lolly enjoyers and PDFs and things. And again, it just went on to this whole thing saying, yes, that's exactly the leap I'm making. Lollies look like children. So people who are attracted to lollies would be more than likely attracted to real children than someone who's not. Obviously, as shown in my chart, it's not a one-to-one correlation, just a trend. So that's what he said, right? And a lot of people have not been very happy at Asmongold over that statement and a lot of the other stuff, right? And again, there was this post which came out, which I saw the other day from Mujin, who obviously creates a lot of the, you know, big drama, what do you call it, like explanations, I guess you could call it. And obviously, he had a whole thing with like Saikudo, and you know, the Saikudo situation blew up and it didn't go very well. You guys probably saw that video that we made on it. But essentially, he made a post going, you know, talking about Asmongold, saying, "Join my hands in prayer for Asmon worshippers who've defended lollies for years and who are now struggling endlessly as to whether they should disagree with them for once or just abandon their values overnight for the never-ending grift." And they say, props to him for giving his take. He got a lot of hate for it. A real human has contradictory opinions. When you base your entire content identity around Asmon, you're agreeing with all his takes. So one day when he goes against a core value of yours and you say nothing because it benefits you, that's what we call being a grifter. And so again, you can see he did not get very many likes on this post. He got 800 likes to 285,000 views. And a lot of people have been, yeah, like Powder said, "Shut up, Mujin," which I just thought it was so funny because it's so short and just like, you know, she's not like starting any kind of argument or anything like that. She's just like, "Shut up." Like, I don't know. She was saying people can fully disagree with someone and still like them. Why is this such a foreign concept to many? And that is the main point that a lot of people are making in response to this, being like, you know, you can still like Asmongold's content or whatever the hell he does. And again, you can have your own opinions about Asmongold. You know, if you don't like him, you like him, whatever. That's totally fine. But for the people that do like him and maybe don't agree with him on this take, you can still, you know, not agree with every single take he has, right? You know, you don't have to worship him. You know, it's cool just, you know, disagreeing with someone but still liking them. You know, Rev saying it might be a foreign concept to you, but people can disagree with someone's take even if they like the person making it. Also, start the clock. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Chief. They're bothering you in the comments, and you deserve it. Like, why is it such a shocking concept to you that people can disagree but still like someone? You've really embraced a modern audience, huh? So yeah, I said, you know, you can disagree with them and not want them dead. Foreign concept, I know. You dropped your nose, you clown. That I've been following Zach for years and disagree with him on a bunch of things. I don't know why you assume people look to align with someone on 100% of things. Many viewers watch him because he has contradictory takes, which to them is sobering in an extreme political environment where everything is black and white. I was referring more to content creators who don't understand this and only seek to benefit from his audience by emulating what he says without believing a single word. There are many. And people said, "Dude, go back to the culture. Remember the VTuber ethos are waiting." Say, what I'm confused about this is I actually agree with him and why everybody is so against his statement here. So obviously some people, you know, agreeing with Asmongold. And the fact that you think that people who watch Asmongold don't ever disagree with him shows you put as much research into this opinion as you do as your hippies VTuber clickbait slop you call content. And obviously, you know, Emerald Apple, the person that was originally in that thread with Asmongold arguing about statistics and stuff, saying, I still like him. To me, he is still the top 5 content creators in my list. I disagree with maybe 5 or so out of his 100 takes that he makes. I align with his opinions 95% of the time. The ideological purity testing, so common with people like you, is so cringe. I have friends IRL who are on opposite sides of the political spectrum, agree 50% on controversial issues, and yet we have been very good friends for over 20 plus years. This post says, this post really says a lot about you as a person, Mujin, which again is crazy, right? Because this is the person that Asmongold was, you know, talking to in the original post, right? This was the same person that they were like arguing over different things, and obviously Mujin saying like, you know, join my hands in prayer for Asmon worshippers who defended him and are struggling endlessly on whether they should disagree with him. It's very clear that the person that he is talking to within this thread disagrees with him on this take, but obviously does not disagree with him on every single one of his takes. So I think it's kind of crazy to assume that like these people only want to align with all of his opinions and whatever, when there is literally an example that you are showing within the quote retweet, right? This is an example of someone that has a take that maybe they don't like of Asmongold's, but they still support him, as, you know, kind of backed up with the comment that they left down here. So they're saying that I support him and, you know, and you know, we're a fan of him like his content or whatever, but I don't agree with every single one of his takes, which I think is fair enough, right? I think that's fair enough, and I think everybody should be like that, right? Nobody needs to go to bat for their favorite YouTuber every single time that they do something, like, you know, every single time that they do something you don't like, right? You can easily say, oh, actually, you know, I don't really like that take, or, you know, I don't really agree with that one, right? Without hating them. You don't have to go like, oh, I hate them forever now because they made a take I don't like. No, you just be like, oh, okay, I don't really agree with that. Anyways, and just kind of move on, right? That's just how people work. And it's just how normal people work as well, right? I think a lot of people are very, you know, kind of broken by the internet to believe that, you know, essentially you need to hate everything that doesn't agree with you, when in real life a lot of people have very different opinions and you can still get along. As, you know, people like Emerald Apple, they were saying, you know, they have friends that disagree with them in terms of their political takes, but they've been friends for 20 plus years or so, which again is fair enough, because, you know, you're not going to always agree on the same things and you're not always going to agree on the same takes, but you're still friends at the end of the day, right? And that is how normal people work. Normal people have different opinions. Normal people have different views on the world and have different views on different situations, and they can learn to kind of get along with it. And of course, I think the internet has just kind of boosted this whole thing of like, you must cancel them, or you must hate them, or you must do this or do that, which I think is obviously absolutely crazy. Like, you know, at the end of the day, you could disagree with someone without hating them. And yeah, I think it is pretty crazy that this was even a topic in the first place. But yeah, I mean, that is essentially all there is for this video. I just kind of wanted to cover that because I thought it was pretty crazy, and a lot of people have been discussing that. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code Kaza, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.